Casey, you did a fantastic job in this. And before we talk a little bit about the film, I just wanted to know how much, or did you know anything about 999 and what it was?
I didn't know what the 999 code was, and I think that the police codes are different from city to city. So this is it's not a universal code, police code. So I had no idea what it was.
Yeah, and so tell me a little bit about how you prepared for this film, because your character is, he's kind of the good guy. He comes in, he wants to do his job, but he's up against a lot of stuff going on. So how did you even kind of get into the mindset of the guy that you're playing, first of all?
Well, I'm a pretty optimistic, hopeful person, and that's sort of what the character's like. I think I really like movies that have a kind of collision of ideas in them underneath the kind of some more exciting sort of plot that's happening on the surface, the kind of cops and robbers who get best guys. And this is one of those things. And Chris was my character is sort of the one who represents sort of optimism and a certain set of values that there's sort of a clear sense of sort of clear delineation between right and wrong, and then and he sort of collides with all these the rest of the world, which has a much murkier, messier sense of sort of right and wrong, and I just feel like that adds something to the movie.
Yeah, oh, it absolutely does, because he kind of, he goes through this dilemma, but then you get to work with such great, this cast is really quite outstanding. And I want to ask you first about Anthony Mackie, because that's where you spend a lot of your time with him in this film. And because we know what his character is going through and what yours is going through, how did you guys work that kind of chemistry out together?
We didn't really talk about it that much, but when John Hillcoat, the director, gave me the script, not everyone had been cast yet, but a few people had. And I got the sense that he was bringing together a group of really good people with Juitel and Kate Winslet, Anthony Mackie, Woody Harrelson, Aaron Paul, Norman Reedus, everyone. So for me, that's a big part of any job is who's involved. And I sort of feel like that the script is important, the director is important, but really the rest of the cast is something that just gives you some comfort. And I thought those people are going to make me better. They're being around them, being in scenes with them, they're just going to sort of elevate my game a little bit. And also it's just really fun to work with people like that are talented, interesting, nice people. And although I really mostly only had scenes with Woody Harrelson and Anthony Mackie, and everyone else is in the movie, although we're in the same movie together, I almost never saw them. So
yeah, well, and Woody Harrelson, that was my next question, because wow, he's just so great in this, and I love the relationship between the two characters. But when you're making a movie is one thing. When you're offset with guys like this, what's that like?
On this one, there wasn't a lot of offset happening. It was onset, as we saw him, at least with Woody. But he's very unpredictable. He's got a lot of energy, and he's really fun to work with. And I've been watching Woody since I was 6 years old or something. He's on Cheers. I can't think of one other person who went from a sitcom in the 80s to being, still a kind of giant movie star. He's had this incredible long career. He's been in all kinds of things, comedies and dramas and big action movies and YA movies. It's really impressive. But when you meet him, he doesn't seem like that person. He seems like just the most ordinary, grounded, sweet man. He's really something else.
Yeah, and you've got some great scenes in this, and there's a bit of, you didn't unfortunately get to partake in that big opening action scene, which I thought was just one of the best things I've ever seen in terms of that bank heist. But you do have that scene where you're with the gun and everything, and you don't know if you're being, how do you even get into the mindset of playing a cop or somebody who actually goes through this in real life? Do you ever put yourself there?
I mean, you a little bit try to imagine sort of what this would be like. I think that part of this movie's appeal is that it feels sort of realistic. It's exciting and visceral, and it's sort of action-packed, but it also sort of feels gritty enough that you think, oh man, this is kind of what it might be like, and so you try to bring your best in that way, make it realistic, feel naturalistic, and I hope I'm never in a situation, any of the situations that are depicted in this movie. But it was sort of fun to imagine them sometimes. I mean, let's face it, being an actor, you show up, you go to work, you put on some costume, and you go out and you hold a fake gun, and you play cops and robbers, and you just feel like a little kid. And I feel very, very lucky to be able to have made a career out of doing that. And I see my own kids running around with their Nerf guns, and I'm basically doing the exact same thing.
Yeah. Did you and Ben run around as kids doing that?
I don't remember I'm sure we did. I mean, every boy probably does that at some point, whether it's sticks or Nerf guns or water guns or just hitting each other in the head with bats. Yeah, it makes you feel like you've never grown up. And with this group of guys, we just spent the summer in Atlanta with our little Nerf guns, and it was a ton of fun.
Yeah. Now, I want to point something out, because this year, I think, is going to be the year of Casey Affleck. Like, some amazing performances. Thank you. Like, Finest Hours. You were so great in that. This one, you did an outstanding job. And then Manchester by the Sea, which I have not seen yet, but that is the biggest buzz coming out of Sundance. And, Kenneth Lonergan is one of my favorite directors, and it surprises me that he doesn't do more stuff. I just don't get it. But, you look at these characters that you're playing, and these are all guys that are trying to do good. What is a hero to you?
Well, that's a hard question. I mean, I think my sense of, first of all, the kind of parts that I've wanted to play has changed a little bit in the last, 10 years. I think being a parent or just growing up or something, you start looking for different things, and you start thinking about sort of what you're putting out into the world, and what you're contributing, and that's become way more important to me than it had been in the past. But I've enjoyed playing. I've certainly played my fair share of villains, and it's been nice to play a few parts of people who are really trying to be more complete people, whether they're heroes or not. That they're trying to sort of be the best version of themselves, and it's just been something that I haven't played much, and up until this point, and these last 3 movies, it's been a nice change.
Who's your mentor when you act? Is there somebody that you turn to say, you want that approval, or is it just,
There's no living person, but there are definitely people who were my idols growing up, and they're probably the same ones that everyone else had, from Brando and people who are just sort of changed everything, and every time you watch them, you would be inspired. But there are certainly some directors, and I've been so lucky in my life that I've been able to be really close with some people who actually are my heroes as well. I don't know how that happened, and I've even gotten to work with some of them, and sometimes I feel like I've had more opportunity than I deserve, and working with Andrew Dominic and working with Gus Van Sant and my brother, and there's so many people, including the people and Kenny Lonergan is someone who every single thing he's done has been a near masterpiece. And you're right, he hasn't worked enough. And I think it's a shame that when we have someone like that, they should be a national treasure, and we should do everything we can to support them, give them a fortune, let them sit around and write as much as they possibly can while they're still alive. Because what Lonergan does, and people like him, is sort of make all of this worthwhile. It's that when you see a movie like that, or you go to one of his plays, it reminds you what is really important and impactful about theater and film and stuff like that. It really moves people, and I wish that we would take people like that and just and support them in a way that they could work more. Unfortunately, it's more like the people that write X robot killer movie, that they're the ones who sort of have the easiest life and end up working the most, writing the most. But I'm thrilled that I got the opportunity to work with Kenny again, and he is one of my heroes.
Well, I can't wait to see that. But you've done an outstanding job in this, really, really great. And thank you. We'll be seeing lots more of you. That is for sure, my friend. Thank you so much for your time.